everybody. I hope you're doing really well today. I am Michelle Legaly. I'm the creator of the Empaths and Sensitives Facebook group and many other things, Intuition Circle and Intuitive Life Coaching program. And I'm here every single Tuesday live with some kind of tool, tip, training, inspiration to help us thrive as empaths and sensitives. So today we're talking about how to give yourself a reading. And sometimes empaths will say to me, Michelle, why do you talk so much about intuition and giving readings and receiving readings and psychic and intuitive development? Because the empaths and sensitives are the intuitives of the world. It's one of our gifts. And I know some people see it as a curse because they don't understand it. But I promise once you understand your sensitivities, what you're able to pick up on, it's a gift. It really is. If you are here live with me, say hello in the chat. Awesome, Sharon. Awesome, Sierra. Kim, good to see you. Jamie, good to see you. And Kim, hi, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. And everybody else. Sometimes I can see your name in the chat and sometimes I can't, and that's okay either way. Okay. So here's what we're doing today. How to give yourself a reading. And then there's a couple key points. Why it's easier to read someone else versus yourself. And then I want us to do an exercise where you actually give yourself a reading. I want you to actually get more information than you normally do. Okay? And this is kind of priming the pump for next week. This is for a lot of different reasons. Last week, we pulled a card that talked about the head and the heart, which reminded me of one of my techniques called the head, heart, and gut technique that I'm going to teach you today. And then this is kind of priming us for next week, because next week I want to do a 3-day challenge. I want to see if in 3 days we can actually increase your ability to sense information in a way that you understand it. Okay, I want to help you increase your intuitive abilities in 3 days. So that's going to be a challenge next week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We're going to be live every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at noon. I'll talk about that at the end. Okay, let's start with why it's easier to read someone else other than yourself. There's probably a lot of reasons, but the biggest reason I see is because you're in your life, right? You're in your life. You perceive it a certain way versus when you're helping someone else or picking up on their stuff. Do you see how you're outside of their life? It's a different perspective. You have less emotional attachments, maybe. You're seeing it through a different lens. Does that make sense, you guys? I have found as a practitioner, even as a coach, it's way easier for me to coach others than it is to coach myself. I still have to sit down and work on myself, coach myself. But honestly, I get more out of it when I have someone help me look at my own stuff. I just do. I'm not good at looking at my own stuff. I don't take the time to do it. So I'm really good at paying other people to help me, though. Does that make sense? Okay, so just recognize it's way easier to read, coach, give someone else a reading, someone else than yourself. We live in our own lives. We can't see it from an outside perspective usually. And that's normal. Robin just said, better together. Amen. Rachel said, I find that the advice and insight I give to others is also what I need to listen to. Amen, Rachel. Like I'll even find myself saying this to my clients. I'm not practicing what I'm preaching right now, but I should be. And so I have to preface it with I see some things that they need to be doing or thinking about that are my things too. Okay. The hardest thing is to take my own advice. Amen. Okay. So just recognize that's super normal. I have so many people that'll come to me and say, how come I can't read myself? I can help other people, but I can't seem to help myself. It's super normal. Okay. And the best advice I can give is what I do because I'm trying to do my best, is I seek help for myself. Like if I expect people to pay me for me to help them and coach them or give them readings, then I need to be paying people to help me. Does that make sense? Like that's just part of it. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Let's move on to the second piece. Now we're going to actually try to give ourselves a reading. We're actually going to try to do it, and I'm going to coach you through it. So last week, again, we kind of, thanks to the Oracle card, we went into the head and the heart. This week, we're going to go into the head, the heart, and then the gut. And I came up with this many years ago as a medium. I was working at a festival or at some event as a medium, and I felt really, I read people from my gut, and I felt really sick that day, and I tried to work, and I felt even sicker. But I was too scared back then to like say, sorry, I can't work today. I just felt like I committed to something and I had to stick with it. So I pushed all my energy up into my head and gave readings from my head, which I didn't think had value. And when people sat down and I stayed right up here because I felt so sick and I couldn't go down into my gut, I was giving them readings and they still left saying, yeah, that makes sense to me. I know what that's about. And I started to go, wow. Okay, the information in my head has value. The information in my heart has value. The information in my gut has value. And then I started to see that I could get different information from each space. Does that make sense? So then when I was reading people back then, after I discovered that, I'd start wherever, in my head, and I'd tell them what was coming to me in my head. I'd go into my heart. Again, probably didn't tell them I was going to my heart. I'd go into my heart space, talk about what I was getting there. And then I'd go into my gut and talk about what I was getting there. Does that make sense? Okay, awesome. Cool. We can do this for ourselves too. Okay, let's see. How do we want to do this? Let's do it this way. Maybe we should. How about you guys let's start with outside of you first. How about you look at me right now and give me a reading? Okay. No, let me explain how we're going to do it. And then we're going to switch to you giving yourself a reading. But let's just like prime the pump a little bit. Look at me. And I want you to bring all your energy up to your head. Bring all your awareness. You can even close your eyes. You can, because we've set the intention that you're going to give me some information. Come up into your head. And what's the first thing that you get when you're in your head about me? Here's the caveat to this. You might think it's about you, but since we set the intention that you're going to give me a piece of information, I don't care if it's a word, a color, a feeling, a thought. What comes in your head when you look at me? Type it in the chat. You can't do this wrong. Play with me. Type it in the chat. Who cares if you think it's your stuff or my stuff? Play with me here. Type it in the chat. I'm just getting chills reading all of these, guys. There's not all of them. This is amazing. You guys are so good at this. Yes, 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 yes. That's so funny. Now, you know how you guys don't know, maybe I can go back in a little bit and I would love to give you all some information, but I'm going to keep going here. I could get so wrapped up into this. Now I want you to drop down into your heart space, touch your heart, or take a breath in, get your awareness down here. Think of a baby, a puppy. Think of love that pulls you into your heart space. Now, we've set the intention. You're going to get a piece of information about me. What do you get in your heart space now about me? Type it in the chat. Type it in the chat. Honestly, yes, I haven't seen anything that I can't resonate with yet. You guys are so good at this. And while you're typing that in the chat, did you notice if there was a difference between what you got in your head about me and what you got in your heart about me? Just notice. Type it in the chat. Good job, guys. I'm reading all of these right now. Good job. Good job. Even if you're watching the replay of this, do it. This is you developing your abilities. We'll do more of this next week during the challenge. Okay, now I want you to take your awareness down into your gut, your solar plexus. Like take a breath in, let your belly like soften and pooch out. Bring your awareness down there. Let's set the intention that you want to get a piece of information for me. And notice what comes up. What information comes to you? Maybe it's a thought, a feeling, an emotion, a color, anything. Just let whatever comes to you and then type it in the chat. Good job, guys. You guys are good. Good job. Sierra, absolutely. I'm hungry right now, and I've been talking about going to the gym for ab work. And I want to speak to all these, but that one was funny. Okay, good. Yes, 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 yes. So like, look, Laren said happiness from busy, and then somebody else put frustration. And some of you might go, well, those are completely different. No, both of those exist inside of me. Like I was super busy this morning doing this is silly, but like organizing, because that does make me happy and busy and gets me not thinking about things. So I did that. And I've been frustrated with some of my work things, which is why I did that busy, happy thing. So both of those actually do exist. Does that make sense? And the grr exist and the tired yes. Yes, I can relate to all that. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's go back to you now. Did you notice a difference when you gave me a reading from your head versus your heart versus your gut? Yes or no? Type it in the chat. And if you didn't, that's okay. Like somebody might say, Michelle, I got a blank in my head, a blank in my heart, and a blank in my gut. It's okay. Just practice with me. We're not looking for, I don't know. There's no results we're looking for. We're not looking for results. We're looking to like have an experience together and just notice what we notice. Okay, I got a lot of yeses. All three were different but connected. Got more goosebumps in the head, felt sick in the gut. Yeah, that's probably that makes sense to me, Teresa. Unsure, from my head, heart to gut, yes. Somebody felt blank, that's okay. That could be part of the message. So don't ever let blank, blank is not allowed to equal we stink. We're no good at this. I never want you to think that if you are thinking that. I want us to we're not looking for right or wrong. We're looking for growing and learning about ourselves and participating. That's all we need to do. Good. Okay, okay, good job. Notice how that was. I bet it might be easier for you to give me a reading. Now we're going to turn it to you. I'm going to guide you and you giving yourself a reading. Are you ready? Okay, kind of erase me. Okay, let go of me, cut the cords. To me, I was a teacher, so I always picture myself at the chalkboard erasing what I just worked on. And I do that with clients too. So when the board is clean and wiped off, then I know I'm ready to start again. Okay, this intention now is for you. We're giving you a reading. Let's start with, is there a particular thing that you would like more information on in your life? I think this works better if we have a subject that we want more information on. Type that subject in the chat if you're willing. What's the intention? What do you want more information on? Is it health, a certain relationship, finance, career, kids? What else could there be? Work, family, finding peace, ancestry, relationship. Let's hone it in here. Let's get a subject. Let's set an intention for a specific thing, a certain friendship. Awesome, Jackie. Relationship, career. Okay, good. You've got your thing. Okay, here's what I want you to do now. You've already set the intention. You want information on a certain thing. Now I want you to bring all your awareness up to your head. Good. Make sure you're in your head, which is easy for a lot of us. And I want you to bring that subject into your head and ask yourself, what's important for me to know about this? What's important for me to know about this? And don't dismiss anything. Just notice what you notice. Try to remain neutral. Let go of the resistance or judgment. Okay, let's stop there. What did you get in your head for yourself? Type it in the chat. Awesome, Jamie. Awesome. Facebook user. Just notice that that's what you got. How can I ever get past this mess? Don't judge it. Just that's what came to you and you wrote it in the chat. More, better, you got this. It'll get better. Empty. Okay, don't judge it. Just tell me what you got. Don't judge it. Awesome. You guys, this is so good. You guys are doing really well with this. Good, Allison. Alice said, I didn't get a thought, but my head circling slightly clockwise. So good for you to notice that. Okay, let's move into our heart space now. Drop down into your chest, your heart space. Breathe into your chest. Feel it expand. You can even touch your chest if that helps you. Bring your awareness. To me, it drips out of my head like a candle or honey, and all of my awareness goes down like honey and into my heart space. That's how it does it for me. It just drips down like honey. And then when it's all there, now I'm really in my heart space. I want you to do the same thing and ask yourself, what's important for me to know about whatever subject you wanted? What's important for me to know about blank? Notice what comes to you here. Let go of resistance. Be open. What's important for me to know? Write it in the chat once you get something. Awesome. Write it in the chat. And just notice the comments that people have in their heart space. I think it's so interesting. Okay, are you ready? It's okay if you're unsure or if it's blank. It doesn't mean anything. Or it probably means there's probably information there, but you're not allowed to let it mean that you can't develop your intuition. You're not allowed to let it mean that. We're only having an experience together. Okay, here we go. Moving down into our gut space, our solar plexus. You know that space where you're just like, I don't know, I just know it. Or, hey, we should not be walking down this dark alley at night. This is a bad idea. You know that gut instincts? Go there. Like you just know. You know that you know. Go there. Let your belly soften a little bit. Bring your attention. If it's going to go down like honey, like mine does, or if you're just there instantly, either way is fine. Soften your belly. Okay, let's set the intention and ask the question. What's important for you, or what's important for me to know about blank? So whatever thing you're talking about, relationship, go down there, keep it on the same subject. What's important for me to know about blank? Ask yourself that question. And then what did you get when you were down in your solar plexus gut space? What did you get? Type it in the chat. Wow. Interesting, Rachel. Wow, Allison. Jane, Kim. Facebook user, awesome. Jacqueline. Someone just said, I feel nauseous. Yeah, just, it's really interesting, isn't it, that you put your attention there and you feel a little sick? Me too. Okay, good. Okay, let's pause for a second. Were you able to get more information with this technique than you normally would for yourself? Yes or no in the chat. Did this help you get more information for yourself? Yes or no in the chat. I want to make sure what we're doing is helpful. Awesome, Laren. Awesome. If you're a no, you can type that in the chat too. You know, this isn't like I want everyone to say you're awesome, Michelle. I really want to know. Okay, we got mostly yeses. We got one no so far, but I can't see who that's from. It's a Facebook user, and that's okay. Okay, Jacqueline said, maybe it was helpful, but I don't know what it means. Okay, awesome. I get that. I totally get you might not know what it means. Would I see either you can just leave it there and then join us next week as we develop our intuition even more together and we can work on that, or you can continue with this, sit with yourself and ask yourself, bring yourself up to your head again. What does this mean? Give me more information. What does this mean? What does this mean in all the areas? Does that make sense? Do it again. Okay, awesome. Okay, it looks like it was helpful for almost everyone. This technique is interesting to me. I definitely need more practice. Yeah, these techniques are a muscle, right? If you're brand new to it, it might be a profound experience, or you might say, I don't know what that thing was. Do it again and again and again. It's like yoga. You know how you go to yoga and for me, I don't know if I fit in here. I don't even know if this makes sense. And then a couple years into it, I'm like, oh, I get this. I get this now. Hey, I'm getting a lot. And then a couple years later, I'm like getting even more out of it. This is just like that. Okay. Was this helpful? I hope this was helpful for you today. Do you have any questions? Jane says, do you always start head down or can you start at your gut? I always start at my head, but I don't know why. I think there's no reason why you couldn't play around with. I'm going to start at my gut. I think that would be cool to try. I just never thought of it, Jane. So good job. I noticed for me, this could be different for you. My head has a lot of superficial ego kind of chatter, like you're never going to be good enough. This is a mess. Well, you've really created a blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of superficial stuff. When I go into my heart, I usually can feel the emotions of me, of the people involved. I can feel the love. I can feel some emotional stuff like the sadness or maybe wishing it was a certain way or my expectations. I feel more emotions there. And I can see kind of where the suffering's going on and the hope and the love though too. And then in my gut, I usually notice it's like an action step, like leave that person alone or step back right now, let them go. Might say it's time for you to move forward. Or it might just feel like a yes, you're going in the right direction. So my gut is usually like some form of action or let it go kind of thing. Does that make sense? Okay, awesome. The other important thing I want you to think about this is because so many of us empaths feel, right? We feel, and that's a lot of our solar plexus energy. And I think this